Welcome one and all, I'm Decoy, back with some more cool and unique camp locations for you. Starting out in the forest, as always, we've got a billboard this time. And I've been looking at quite a few different billboards that I might build at down the road, and I think this one just might be my number one spot. It does have an awesome Tyler County dirt track sign down here on the end. It also comes with a cooking station, always handy. But look at all that flat land right there. I mean, that is nice. I mean, you just can't go wrong with a little bit of flat building space. And you do get a duffel bag, ammo box, a couple other things to scrap. And up here on this little platform, there's nothing to write home about. It's not spectacular. But it does look out over the fairgrounds, which is pretty cool. But it is a little picky on your camp placement. So you gotta slowly back away, and eventually you'll find the sweet spot where you're gonna be able to kidnap the billboard and make it your own. Overall, it's a pretty cool little spot, and you'll find it hidden behind the Ferris wheel on your map. Pretty interesting spot. But now, let's head to Toxic Valley. And this spot, when I finally came here to record it, because it's not overly spectacular, I showed up and there's all these cultists laying around. And I'm just sitting here thinking, I've been here a lot of times. I don't remember cultist bodies being here before. Is this a random spawn? And sure enough, it has to be a random spawn, because I've returned here after the fact and hit again nothing. So, I'm not sure what all will spawn here. I just know that almost every time I've shown up, it has been nothing. And I show up to record and they're like, hey, have some cultists. You gotta share these with some people. So, while I'm not a huge fan of camping at a random spawn, because it will break it, really I showed up here mostly for that wall and the trailer, because that's all there really is. You might be able to do something with that. If nothing else, I showed you the location of a random spawn, so at least you had something to take away from this experience. But that's enough about that spot. Now let's head to the ash heap. And this spot, I love it and I hate it all at the same time. I love this house. It is a really nice looking house. A little bit of flat land off beside it. Container wise, we've got a mailbox. But the house itself looks really good. The downside is you can't go inside of it. You do get plenty of wood piles off on this side, but a really lovely house, and you just can't take full advantage. But I'm gonna wager there may be ways of sneaking inside of it. I've seen it done before. So maybe there's a way to sneak in, and that's all I'm gonna say. But the house itself looked really good. I love that it had the flower boxes beside it. If you're wanting to check this spot out, you'll find it way down here in the bottom left corner of the map. I know that part does suck. But it's a nice looking house in a spot where you don't see people camping, and that has its own value. Now to the Savage Divide. And it was funny, when I finally came to this location a long time ago, I wasn't looking for this location as a camp location. I was looking for a different camp location and just happened to be walking through and went, you know what, I see some potential here. So here you're going to have a couple blackberry plants, firecracker berry. Up here, you've got a little bit of space to work with, not much, but you do get something to play around with. Mostly, I love this spot for its potential for building your own train station or something along those lines, because you're right on the tracks. It has multiple structures with it. I mean, that's just freaking cool. I know there's several of those around the map, but just how this location itself is set up, I really enjoyed it. I mean, who doesn't want that kind of stuff at your camp? Now, it is right at the switch of where the train tracks will split into two different directions. But pretty cool, fairly well centered in the map, at least side to side. It does push you a bit further south, but I think it's solid. Now to the mire. And this is a location that I would wager every single one of you know about, and I avoided showing it for about as long as I could. And that is the insanely popular spot under the bridge. Oh man. So I would wager if you've hopped around to different people's camp shopping, you've probably ran into this spot at least once. You do get some drugs down here, medical container, dead bodies, because, you know, dead bodies, and we gotta have them. Now, right off over here, there's a lead vein. Part of the reason I never wanted to show this spot was it breaking random spawns. Like that spawn right there. That should never spawn anything if you're camping there. And then you have a second random spawn right over here underneath the bridge. So yeah, it is a cool spot to get a build. I'll give it that. But again, I'm not a fan of messing with the random spawns in the world. But if you want to camp there, it's just south of Harper's Ferry, which that's a little bit of a positive. But now let's head to the Cranberry Bog. And I am really just doing my best here in the Cranberry to find stuff. There's not a lot going on in Cranberry, except for me recording and people buying stuff. Congratulations, you bought something and ended up on camera. So down here, all I've really got for you is a bus. And back there was a different unique camp location from way back when. One thing that did suck about this spot was the little Colonel Gutsies hanging out, being a pain. But you can take advantage of the bus here if you're feeling a little bit crazy. I mean, you do get a single container. I mean, that's something, right? Nah, at this point, everybody's just like, we're not really here for Cranberry. But, good job for attempting to find stuff, Decoy. Good job. If you want to camp here, or you just want to pass by, it's just hanging out there on the middle of the road. Well, that's going to wrap up this week. Don't worry, I'll be back with even more next week. As usual, please remember to like, sub, and share. Later.